made it. 7 days earlier, the car was wrecked in this 150-mile-an-hour crash at Sebring. A non-stop work by the Mobo team sees the sports prototype make the Monza grid after Andrea Montemini takes pole. Pristine and ready to run. Great pole position by the former Formula One driver. Also here, two Kramer Porsche K8s, one for 1995 World GT champions, Thomas Bichir and John Nielsen. Dr. Bichir starting. Well, 4 prototypes have come to Monza in a field largely made up of GT2 Porsches and Ferraris, but one will be starting late. Switzerland's Freddie Leinhardt crashed his Ferrari 333 heavily in the morning warm-up, and his Horag team is rebuilding it now as the rest of the field starts its warming-up lap. Well, the rolling lap for 24 starters and almost 6 hours to go around the 5.7 kilometre spiritual home of motor racing. A race Ferrari has not won since 1973, when Jack Eakes and Brian Redmond shared their factory 312 PB. Well, Moretti leads from the off, using all 12,000 RPM of his Ferrari's 4-litre V12 to keep his pole advantage over Christophe Bouchou and the other Kramer K8 alongside him, and Thomas Bichir. Didier Taï should have been alongside the Ferrari in the grid, but it's still in the pits. They're just putting the finishing touches to it after the morning warm-up crash. Luca Drudi 4th in the Zadra Porsche GT2, and Dutchman Bert Plug 5th in the Porsche GT2. He's sharing with fellow countryman Cor Oyser. Was 1,000 kilometers ahead in a race made famous by sports prototypes from Ferrari Matra, Alfa Romeo and Porsche in the 1960s and 70s. Group C cars took over in the 1980s, and one infamous year was 85, when a tornado hit the track and a falling tree blocked the track in the middle of the race. Manfred Winkelhock and Mark Sierra were awarded Kramer's only Group C victory. Now the German team is back with its beautiful open-top 2-seater Porsches with K8 chassis. A big Italian club field, one has to say, strung out behind, but it's all entertaining for the crowd as they watch Ferrari and Kramer Porsche battling out the 1,000 kilometers. Gianpiero Moretti, owner of Momo Steering Wheels, running 2 of these cars, of course, in what is now called Professional Sports Car Championship in America, after the name change from IMSA. And what a good job the team did after Antonio Herman crashed that car. There he is, chased still by Thomas Bichir, and in 3rd place, that was Christophe Bouchou. Here in 3rd place, Thomas Bichir in the 2nd of the Kramer cars. Luca Drudi and Bert Plug. These Porsche GT2s, the only 2 really professional cars in the field that can give chase to the fleet sports prototypes. Moretti having longed to race in his native Italy. He comes from not far from Monza track, and he is just so delighted to be back here. A lot of work to bring the car over from America just for this one race. It has to go back immediately for the next round of the Professional Sports Car Racing Championship in the States. And Moretti preferring to start the car himself, as he always does, sharing the car with Andrea Montemini and Antonio Herman. So the fans here absolutely thrilled to the sight and sound of these V12 Ferrari sports cars. Now here is Didier Taï. He's got back into the race in the rebuilt Lister Ferrari. He's now up into 14th place, having rejoined just in front of 3rd placed Thomas Bichir. Already carving his way up through the field and pulling away from the turbocharged Porsche Kramer. Well, Bert Plug already up into 4th. He's passed Luca Drudi to lead the GTs. And Luca Drudi, who we normally see racing Ferrari F40s in the BPR GT Championship, enjoying his one-off drive in a Porsche 911 GT2. Well, Luca Canna Ferrari spins, and yes, it's a Ferrari. This is 355 GT. Marshals get the tow hooks out, ready to pull the car to safety. Well, there is Kramer team manager Achim Stroth going to give the go faster boards to both Bouchou and Bischer. For Ferrari, everything seems to be going right. Well, it was. Moretti goes off at Ascari, trying to pass a lap car. The $1 million Ferrari deep in the gravel. The Marshals' first thoughts, once the cloud clears, is to rescue it. Now, most people would push that car onto the tarmac, which it's 2 feet away from. No, they decide to use the Ferrari as a plough. And Andrea Montemini absolutely disgusted, and Gianpiero Moretti had some words to say about that afterwards. Out comes the safety car. They might be wrecking the Ferrari by pulling it backward through the gravel, but they're certainly not going to let anyone wreck it by crashing into it. Once everyone's been slowed down, the car's recovered, it's brought back to the pits. And we spoke to Gianpiero Moretti about his mistake.
Well,
he said, I made a mistake at Ascari. I lost a lot of time in the gravel, and Andrea and I will now do our best to make up for that lost hour. We've got to clean the car out first, and well, we're going to try it. We've come all the way to Italy to race the car, and we're going to continue. Well, it's cleaned out. Everything's checked. And Montemini now takes over the car and rejoins the race. Well, the race has restarted after the safety car period. And now with the Ferrari at the back, Thomas Bischer takes the lead. He and John Nielsen won the Monza 4 hours in both 1995 and 1996 when it was a GT race in their West McLaren, and they'd just dearly love to do it again. But he now has the Lister Ferrari right behind him after 1 hour. The FIA GT Championship round, incidentally, which was planned for Monza, was cancelled, and this is why they're running 1,000 kilometers, just to make sure Italians get their fill of sports car racing on the traditional March date. Didier Theiss on board Ballista Ferrari, which he is sharing with Freddie Leinhardt, the car's owner. The car's not actually raced in America, it's raced in Europe in the Inter Series and events like this. More of these events, of course, coming this year. The Italians have 2 more planned, and there is also the new FIA Sports Racing Championship, which will start after the Le Mans 24 hours, designed specifically for these type of cars, for Le Mans class sports prototypes, for IMSA professional sports car prototypes, and that is all being run by the Association of Sports Manufacturers under John Mangaletzi, the owner of the BRM program, who's running it from Britain. 4 races, and the first of those will be at Donington Park in July. Well, pit stop now. Coroids are taking over from GT leader Bert Plugol, and Bouchou, Christophe Bouchou, spins the Kramer Porsche. Oh, well, it's had clutch problems apparently, and not doing the car any good getting it back. The Marshals getting the heck out of it before the rest of the field arrives. Well, the car has more clutch problems later on and will eventually retire. Well, John Nielsen now taking over from his teammate Thomas Bischer, and John immediately upping the ante with really quick lap times. These two incidentally sharing Gulf McLaren together as one of the 3-car Gulf team in the FIA GT Championship, which of course started on Sunday at Hockenheim. Hope most of you caught our coverage on Eurosport on Sunday night. Montemini now on a flyer. Back in that Ferrari, everything cleaned out. He sets fastest race lap at 1:36.915 and is heading towards cutting 5 laps from their 12-lap deficit after that off. Brazilian Antonio Herman, the man who crashed this Momo car at Sebring a week earlier, takes over and passes Monza regular Guido Dacco's 911 Porsche. But up at Parabolica, a big accident. Everyone's slowing down, and Aldo Bocchiardi has gone off in a big way. Fortunately, the driver quite unhurt. Just going in for a quick dose of grappa, under doctor's orders, of course. And John Nielsen still leading in this Kramer K8 Porsche. Car based on the 962 Group C chassis, with Kramer's own tweaks and their own designs built into it. We've seen these cars, of course, racing at Le Mans against the Just and Courage cars. We'll be seeing them again this year. And Eurosport will be bringing the Le Mans 24 hours live in June. Well, Nielsen still leading. And Montemini now back in the Momo car. Pushing very hard indeed. He's up into second place. And unreeling those laps as fast as he can. But look, there is a fire in the back of the car. The Ferrari has got a problem with the oil pipes. It's caught fire. And he goes off up to Parabolica, blissfully unaware of the problem. The fire's getting bigger and bigger. And he will not be seen again. So, Bushu's Kramer car out, Montemini's Ferrari out. It means now that John Nielsen has this last lap all to himself. And the checker flag's ready. He and Thomas Pichot heading for a 3rd consecutive sports car win here in 3 years, after twice taking the GT victory for Wes McLaren. For that now, read Kramer Porsche. Well, second place went to Antonio Zadra in this GT2 Porsche after all the prototype problems, and a race-long battle with Oyser and Plug came to an end when the Dutch pair broke a wheel.
We're always happy to come to Monza, and it's the 3rd race now in 3 years we win. Last 2 years we win the BPR GT race with the McLaren. Now we drive a Porsche and we win also, so it's a nice place to come to Monza.
So a happy John Nielsen there, and a taste of things to come. Sports prototype race.